Hello, my name is Doreen, and today I will be analyzing the difference and similarities between the news article by CNN and a research journal done by Frontiers about a newly discovered bacteria between the year 2020 and 2021 that could help plants grow. CNN published an article on March 16th with the title, Previously Unknown Bacteria Discovered on the Space Station Could Help Grow Plants. The author of this article was Ashley Strickland, and within this article, it talks about how 4 strains of bacteria, 3 being unknown to scientists, were found in a space station. These bacteria are found in a growth chamber where plants are cultivated, and they are found consistently throughout time. And these strains belong to the Mythobacteriae family and could potentially help grow crops in space by overcoming stressors. The Mythobacteriae species have been known to promote growth for plants and fight off pathogens that affect them. One of them was already known, so it already had a name, which is Mythorhizium rhodesium. But the new strains for the novel bacteria will now be named Mythobacterium ajamali. It is important to note that these strains of bacteria are not harmful to astronauts, but many precautions are being taken to ensure its safety to humans. Here is a drawing of the Mythobacterium. As you can see, it is rod-shaped. The CNN article also linked the research article, and that is titled Mythobacterium Isolated from the International Space Station. This was published on March 15th. Within the research article, it states that the Mythobacteriae are present in a wide variety of habitats, such as air, soil, freshwater, sediments, and can exist in plant tissues. It is important to mention that the bacteria strain was first amended on its ability to grow on methane, and they are involved in many different processes needed in photosynthesis, such as nitrogen fixation, phosphate solubilization, abiotic stress tolerance, and biocontrol activity against plant pathogens. Therefore, this reviewed the presence of metabolic pathways that are necessary for plant growth promotion, including for the genes that produce and encodes acetic acid. The objectives of this study was to generate genome sequences and to define the pathogenic novelty of the ISS Mythobacterium strains using taxonomic analysis. To do this, they isolated the microbes and cultured them, and the researchers extracted the DNA using a kit. There, they were able to gather results, which categorized in 4 groups. First, they needed to make sure that the 3 strands actually belonged to the novel species. The similarity of the sequence was about 99.4%. Secondly, the researchers did a whole genome sequencing on each strand. Next, the researchers had to categorize them using their phenotype characteristics. All 3 strands of the bacteria were reddish, pink pigmented, catalyzed positive, and rod-shaped. On the left, there's a table present showing the similarities and differences between the phenotypes between each strands. And finally, each strand had a fatty acid profiling done. Here's a close-up of the table, and as you can see, each strand is very similar to each other, but also have different characteristics. W stands for weakly positive, whereas the minus sign stands for negative, and the plus sign stands for positive. The CNN article did have many strengths. Strickland actually interviewed a couple of the scientists that were studying this microbe, which is a great source of information. She provided insight on the past and provided pictures of astronauts growing plants in space. And although her article was relatively short, it did include factual information and it was relatively relevant. In the news article, it mentions that these strands belong to the same species, which is true as presented through the phylogenetic analysis in the research article. It was correct that these bacteria were cultivated and discovered on different occasions, but most importantly, Strickland was spot on the fact that these bacteria are beneficial in helping plants grow even under stressors, and that there is still research needed to be made. However, there are a few concerns with the CNN news story. The most major shortcoming is the fact that the title of the article is extremely misleading. The title made it seem like the researchers have already found a bacteria strand and they tested it that will help plants grow in outer space. However, these strands are still in its infant stage of being researched, and it might be years before it's 100% confirmed that it can help crops grow in outer space and that it is safe towards humans. The article also included varied information on how helpful the microbe actually is. All that was presented on the news story was that it can help plants grow, but it does not include how or include any good examples. And lastly, the picture in the news articles has no correlation to the microbe or the researchers in the study. The only thing that it honestly relates to is the fact that it is astronauts growing plants in outer space. But it doesn't have any correlation with the Methylobacteriaceae species or the astronauts that are on this topic. Overall, the CNN News article was a pretty accurate representation of the research article, but it did lack a couple crucial information that I felt like would have made the article 10 times better and more accurate. And here are the credits. And thank you so much for watching this presentation video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.